Okay, before we get started on LSU and the game, just going to at least make mention that we had our president come and visit us today. President Frank came by to see our football team, and we actually started out our day in the indoor facility in the SOFR, which we're going to refer to it now. So if you ever hear me saying that we're going to the SOFR, we're going to the Carroll SOFR Indoor Practice Facility. Okay, so that's what I'm going to call it, and I want everybody else around here to call it the SOFR. Okay, so anyway, that's exciting news. So anyway, we had our president come by and say hello, and then we practiced outside, and at the end of the day, I decided to finish the last little bit of practice indoors as well. We had a guest, we had a few guests come, but Rob Finizio was there, and he gave a great gift for the field. And so wanted to, let the players know about the great gifts. And there's others, even in the room today, that have given great gifts. We're so thankful for those. But anyway, getting into LSU game, we are excited that it's finally here. Just a few days away now. Today is Tuesday, and we had a Tuesday-like practice. Tomorrow, today is more first and second down type things. If there are blitzes that people might using first and second down, out in the middle of the grass, so to speak, the green zone we call between the 20 and the 20. That was, the focus today. A little bit of short yardage goal line today as well. When we have full pads on, tomorrow will be Wednesday, and it'll be treated as a Wednesday's practice, which is more third downs, third and medium, third and long, red zone stuff, and so that'll be what we do tomorrow. And then Thursday, we'll have a Thursday practice, which is in helmets, shorts and helmets, and we'll be kind of covering a little bit of everything and do a little 1 minute offense, 1 minute defense, and cover, some kicking situations. Then Friday, we're going to treat it as if it's another Thursday, another dress rehearsal day. We'll travel Saturday, and then we'll play, of course, on Sunday. So that's our schedule for the rest of the week. Getting ready to play LSU, like I mentioned. Great football team, historically great. I think great is the way to describe them now when you watch their film. Very physical, fast team. They recruit as good or better than anybody in the country. They actually have more NFL players on the rosters right now than anybody in America, and that's about 3 or 4 years running. So always great players there, great coaching. Coach Ogeron has done a wonderful job there of recruiting and motivating his team. Just watching spring game, you can see the talent base they got and they have, and just the way they get after it. Their defense does a wonderful job. Got a bunch of guys returning, but I'll start with their secondary. Talk about Greedy Williams, number 29, great cover guy, redshirt sophomore, very difficult to shake free from. They do play a lot of man coverage, got a lot of faith and confidence in their covered people. Kelvin Joseph is number one, is a guy that was a true freshman they had scheduled to start, but now that Fulton is reinstated by the NCAA, I imagine we'll see a good bit of him, number 22. Their safeties are both back, Delpit, number 9, and Battle, number 26, super physical guys, very athletic guys. And again, can cover very well because they do play a good bit of man coverage. Devin White is kind of the hub of their defense, the heart and soul, number 40. Had 133 tackles last year, 14 tackles for a loss, 4.5 sacks. Had a pick, had a fumble recovery. Just perpetual energy, physicalness. A guy that will ignite his teammates with his play, his physical play, and just the way he goes about his business. I got a couple guys that have played on the edges, but were not always starters last year. Rashad Lawrence, number 90, 6'3", 300-pound junior. He's one of the great interior defensive linemen in the country, and they've got a bunch of them that play right now. So they're more of a 3-down, 4-linebacker front, and but they will get into some 4-down looks. When they do that, they normally take the nose guard out of the game, take their two ends or whatever you want to call them, make them over the guards, and then the outside linebackers become their rush guys. Not always that way, but that's one of the ways they like to get into their nickel defense. But great challenge for us in that way. Offensively, starting the receivers, Giles, I don't know if it's Giles or Giles, number 7, played 23 games. He's a transfer from Texas Tech. He had 13 touchdowns. I think last year, in 2016, I believe, he had 13 touchdowns. A lot of 5-star recruits. Marshall was one of them. Giles was the other one. And I think even Jefferson, who changed his number from 85 to number 2, I believe he was a 5-star athlete as well. Just a lot of guys that can really play. This guy named Chase, another 5-star receiver, number 1, who had 30 touchdowns in his high school career. It might have been just in his senior year. Got some linemen that got experience. Charles has played 14 games. Brumfield is a full-time starter from a year ago. They got a guy named Trayor in there as a right tackle, looks like junior college transfer. I think he might have been the number 1 junior college lineman in America. So anyway, at their tight end position, they've got now number 18, he's number 18 now. He was Moreau. He was number 84. And if you know the tradition of LSU, the number 18 is a number of honor. I think a senior gets it. It might not be a senior, but it's somebody that they respect a lot to wear the number 18 jersey. I'm not certain if you have to be a senior to be it. I think you do. But Foster Moreau is the one who's going to take that honor. The running backs, probably by committee. It's hard to say for sure. They've got Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He's number 22, about 5'9", 215 pounds. Really tough physical guy. He's also a kickoff return man for them. Brosette, Fournette, are other guys that may get carries or probably will get carries. So, and then the quarterback position, I guess they just announced Burrow, the transfer from Ohio State, will be the quarterback. I've seen tape of him. Big, tall, athletic guy. Guy can throw the ball extremely well. Guy that obviously is a mature guy to get your business done academically and get to the point in his career where he can come in and walk into a program like LSU and become their starter the very first game. There's a lot to be said for that. So as far as their punting is concerned, I think they double duty it. Rosenberg, number 46, actually a 27-year-old guy. Had a guy like that named Chris Winkie at Florida State, played minor league baseball. And he's kind of punting the deep ones. And then Growden, number 38, is a kid that tends to kick it. The pooch kick, or the pooch punts, he had 13 out of 23 inside the 20. And then I'm not for sure who the kickoff extra point field goal guy is going to be, but Cole Tracy is a transfer, from a Division II school. And I believe he was 27 out of 29 in field goals and hit 67 out of 67 PATs. So my guess he's going to be the guy. Giles, number 7, is the kickoff return man and, is the punt return man. And I mentioned Edwards-Helaire as the kick return man. He had 19-yard average a year ago. So that's LSU as far as a little bit of a scouting report. Last time Miami played LSU, it was the worst defeat in a bowl game probably ever that Miami had. I think it was in a Peach Bowl. I think it was the biggest margin of victory in a bowl game for LSU. I think it was in 2005. So, we know we're in for quite a challenge. Being a coach in the SEC all those years, you know what LSU is about, and had a chance to play them a few times. So, a great challenge, I'll just say that. So with that, we'll open it up for anybody's questions.
Mark, when they have, you're right, the running back, everything that has indicated is that it will be sort of by committee. In week 1, there's always guesswork anyway, but
right.
How do you prepare for guys with different styles? What is the challenge specifically?
Yeah, when you're facing a running back, you pretty much got to defend the scheme. They're going to run certain plays, no matter who the running back is. One guy might have a better ability to catch the ball out of the backfield, and you might have to make some adjustments there, trying to make sure you get a good matchup, not a bad matchup. The thing about when you play man coverage, it's not just DBs and receivers. There's receivers and running backs and linebackers and safeties that got to cover people too. And you can get yourself in a bad matchup if you're not careful.
No, so you play in a pretty big stadium, obviously, but it ain't just everywhere.
Yeah, I've never been in a stadium like that. I've never been in that stadium.
Are you getting a chance to walk through on Saturday?
Yeah, we're going to try to as soon as we get in town, we're going to try to go over there and take a peek. I think LSU's played in it 3 or 4 times and never lost. So I'm sure. I don't know how recent that is. I don't know if the kids saw it last year or not, but we're going to at least get our team in there and let them look. And it'll be nothing like game day, I'm sure, but at least they'll have a little bit of an idea what they're up against. I'm sorry?
Would you rather be there?
They're at Tiger Stadium. They're both. They'll both be full of raging Cajuns, I can tell you that. So either way, it's going to be loud as heck, I'm sure.
I was going to ask along those lines, considering proximity to Dallas, do you feel that it'll be more of a home game for LSU?
Oh, I think without question, there'll be more crowd noise than we can handle with our verbal cadence. I mean, we'll be nonverbal, and I would say there'll be enough people from Miami to probably do the same. One year at Georgia, played Boise State in the dome, in the old dome, and they might have had 10,000 people there, and we're thinking, no problem, we'll use our verbal cadence and we'll be just fine. It was so just the 10,000 made so much noise in that enclosed space. We midway through the first quarter had to go nonverbal communication, which that was a coaching error. Just assuming it was not going to be that loud, and I was wrong. So I'll never let that happen again.
Along the lines of being a voter, it's a little off topic here, but you're a voter yourself. These uniforms, what are kind of your thoughts on them?
Our uniforms?
Yeah.
Oh, I think they're awesome. I think that it's going to be a lot of fun. The fact that, the parlay uniforms we're having that Adidas put together, I think everybody knows the deal, but there's a lot of waste in the ocean, and a lot of it's plastic, a lot of it's different other things that can actually be recycled and reused. And I think the thought of taking notice of that type of issue and getting people, making some awareness of it is good. I think at the end, the jerseys will be auctioned off for a good cause for I don't know if it's our marine bio or. Yeah, so I mean it's gonna be good for that, and kids love that stuff. They like a little bit different uniform. I'm more traditional, more of a traditionalist, but I've learned over the years that if it's something as simple as that creates excitement and creates fun, and for our guys and for our fans, then I'm all for it. Oh, excuse me. I'm gonna make one more point. We are gonna have a decal on our helmet to honor what happened at Stoneman Douglas High School. And I know our baseball team had a decal on their helmets, and there might have been other sports I think that might have done similar things, but we will have a decal. Margaret Stoneman Douglas, MSD, will be on our helmets to honor those families in that school. I'm sorry. You know what? I don't know that for sure, but I know it'll be game 1. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
I know that you said that there is not much talk about it anymore the last 3 games of last year, but
Right.
what do you think the offense took from that experience? What are the lessons
Yeah.
you think they've taken? You've heard not taking
Yeah.
your foot off the gas, not getting overconfident. What do you think?
Well, the kids got to say something. I mean, when you ask them, they got to give some kind of answer. I don't think they think much about it. I think they know to be great on offense, you can't have self-inflicted wounds by, jumping off sides, foolish penalties, missed assignments. And everybody has to execute. You might have 10 out of 11 doing it just right. One guy messes up, makes a little mistake, my bad, I'm sorry, but it caused that play not to be good, and then it may cause a drive not to be good because of that one play. And before you know it, you're punting too much, So, let's face it, if each guy made just one mistake, my bad, it could be 11 drives if you got 11 drives, It could be, certainly 11 plays that end up not being successful. So they understand that they have got to know their assignments. They got to know their techniques. They got to play with the physical nature. They got to make the plays when they present themselves. If you're a wide receiver and the ball comes to you, you got to make the catch. If you're a quarterback and the protection's right and somebody's open, you got to put it on them. If there's a blitz coming and that linebacker or whoever it is belongs to that running back, you got to rise to the occasion and do your job. So I think that's what they focus on the most.
Mark, I see in the depth chart, the backup quarterback says Kay Weldon or Nicosi.
Yeah.
Do we read into the order at all?
No, I promise you it'll be one of those two. That's all I can tell you.
But,
Yeah.
does it mean like Kay's 1A or something like that? You're 2A, you know what I mean?
I know what you mean. I'll give you the same answer. One of those two will be second team. Okay, I promise you that.
And also, I saw Rousseau is a backup defensive end.
Yeah, Rousseau. I'll say this: Rousseau's going to play. He's going to play a lot. So, I think that's where he is on the depth chart. I'll be honest with you. I didn't look at the defensive depth chart before it went out. I should have probably, but I'm just trying to get a first down and a touchdown in the red zone, right? I want to do that too. Yeah.
Campus, Richards.
Amon Richards has had a good camp. There's a couple days when I don't think he tweaked his hamstring or whatever, but I think he was a little bit tight here and there. And anytime you have a hamstring injury like he had a year ago, you want to be careful. And so there was a couple days that I think he was being a little cautious, and I was getting a little concerned. This is really early in camp. And then, I don't know, one day out of the blue, he just started going full speed again, and he hasn't looked back. So he's had a really good camp.
Mark, at the end of last year, you talked about going back into the I formation and using the fullback.
Well, we want to make sure that we have the ability to get into what we call 21 personnel, which is, two running backs, one of them being a true fullback. Realist George, was recruited for that very purpose. And Trayon Gray, Chalk, we call him, he's actually the number one fullback right now. And then, Realist is number 2 right now. But, whether it's finishing a game, whether it's short yardage, whether it's goal line, whatever it may be, we may not always be in that set, but I want the ability to be in that set. And we didn't have that last year, and I didn't like it, and it probably hurt us when it came down to third and shorts and things of that nature.
So I guess what I was asking is, has it evolved the way you want it to?
Yeah, I have a lot of confidence in Trayon and Realist in those spots. I mean, they're legit. And of course, Chalk's a senior; he won't be here long, but Realist will be here will be around for a while, and we'll probably be looking for another one because you can't just have one fullback.
Especially getting a chance to talk to Joe Willis about playing against LSU.
Right.
His home state.
Have I talked to him about it?
Yeah.
I know he's excited about it. I know he's excited. He's been, we all know he went through a little bit of a time where he couldn't play for us. He had to be on that scout team last year, and I think maybe one thing that might have eased the pain just a little bit for him was knowing that this game was coming. Something he could really look forward to. And I know he's going to take a lot of pride in just playing, period. If you hear his interviews, he's just happy to be, he used the term being with his boys. Most kids play football because they want to be with their friends. There's such a camaraderie in football that a lot of people just don't ever get to experience. And so just getting to play with his teammates is probably his number one joy right now. But, I would think real close after that is playing against, his home state team.
Have you and Dugans decided how many receivers you're going to try to play on Sunday?
We've been talking about it, talking about how many receivers we'll play. We told them however many guys that we trust. And so if it's every single one of our scholarship guys, then it'll be that. We're very pleased with our group of guys. and they've all shown the signs of flashing in a positive way. Part of the trust is really knowing that if we call this play in the heat of the battle, when it counts the most, that number one, you'll know what to do. Number two, you'll know how to do it, and you'll be able to, I know they'll be able to make the plays because they're really talented kids, but are they always certain of what to do? Not always. Are they always certain of exactly how to do it? Not always. But they're getting there. So we just got to determine here in the next couple of days, who do we think is ready?
How many more can you take to this game than you would for a road pass?
There's actually no limit. You know, that we have a limit. We put a self-imposed limit. I'm not going to say what the number is, but we can, because it's not a conference game, bring more than the 72 that the ACC allows. And we will be bringing a little bit more than that, yeah.
Malik's talked a couple times about how one of the things he wanted to work on over the last 8 months was becoming even more pinpoint, becoming more precise. How would you kind of assess?
Yeah,
what-
he's done
charting
well.
every-
Yeah, we do. We grade every single play, and when it comes to a passing play, they have a job grade. I mean, did you do your job right in order? In other words, did you declare who the right Mike linebacker is? Get your protection right? Did you get your ball handling and your footwork correct? Then the next thing is we give an accuracy grade. It's not whether it's completion or not. It's like, was it an accurate throw or was it not? Actually, second is a decision. Did you make the right decisions? Number two, so it's job, decision, and then accuracy grade. And he's been very accurate. I mean, he's not perfect. You know, no one's perfect. And but you know, we know when we get the pinpoint pass, then you get yards after the catch. And I kept using the term. There's going to be some highly contested throws, but we can't throw dangerous throws. So in other words, if they're playing man coverage and you got Greedy covering even Amon, it's going to be tightly contested because he's a talented guy, and Amon is too. So it's going to be tight coverage, and we got to put the ball in a spot where we can get it and they can't get it. Then there's other throws that are just dangerous throws where maybe that same kind of coverage is going on and they got what we call a rat, which is a robber or a low hole player who's playing zone. Everybody's playing man, and then there's one guy in there playing zone. And, you know, you want to throw it to that receiver who's beating his guy man to man, but here's this defensive zone, this guy playing zone, and you don't want to throw a dangerous ball, either dangerous for your receiver or dangerous that it could be a pick. So we want to make the pinpoint passes on the highly contested throws, but we got to be smart enough not to throw the dangerous throw.
Without getting into the whole methodology of grading, is he ahead now where he was 12 months
Oh,
ago?
yeah. Yeah, Malik is constantly getting better, more comfortable with what we're doing. And there's a lot for knowing what to do, exactly knowing how everything works, understanding our system, how it relates to our defense and any defense that we play. Plus, you know, whatever it is, 13 games of experience, it's hard to replace that.
So a couple more.
If you had to change anything as far as your approach on kickoff returns with this one?
Well, yeah, we've discussed what to do. We're not going to give our strategy away, but the question is, do you go ahead and fair catch inside the 25? Because if you fair catch it and you catch it, you get the ball on the 25-yard line, and I think you could choose whatever hash you want. I think they may put it on the hash that you caught it. If you fair catch, okay, and you muff it, you drop it, it's down where it drops. In other words, you can't just like muff it, pick it up, and go. Once you say fair catch, it's over. You cannot advance. You cannot advance a muffed ball either direction. Okay? So if you're on the 3-yard line, you go fair catch, you muff it, it lands on the 3, it's down on the 3. You can't, even if you have time, you can't pick it up and run. Now, if you don't fair catch and you try to catch it and you muff it, you can pick it up and go. But the minute you go fair catch, then if you drop it, the ball's there. So there's risk, you know, in doing that. But on the other hand, you know, if you got going against a great team that the guy kicks it high as he can kick it, the ball lands on the 4-yard line, and their coverage is notorious for tackling you inside the 15-yard line, you might consider fair catching it and getting the ball on the 25.
Yeah, other players kind of.
They talk to each other. the off returner is always communicating with the guy who the ball's going to. Wherever the ball's going to, the other guy is trying to help him make a decision what to do.
Mark, how do you feel your team is physically going into this game?
Overall, good. We've had some. Obviously, we had George Brown get hurt, and I'm forgetting names already. But there's a few guys we know are out. Michael Irvin Jr. is out, and Wilder may be out for now. So there's a few guys like that. But the guys that have been banged up here and there and missed a little bit here and there, we feel like they'll all be back and ready for the game.
Is
Joe should be.
Joe play with the?
Last year McLeod played, I think, almost the whole season with the very same type of thing. So yeah, he can play, and I'm not even sure he'll need it for the game. To be honest with you, sometimes it's just protective to go through camp. I really don't know for sure if he'll need it in the game or not. All right, last one if you got it. All right, thank you.